Good morning, AP students. This is Monday, April 20th. This week we're going to be going over each one of the skills one more time: contextualization, thesis, the documents, outside evidence, and sourcing and analysis. And again, trying to give you some practice so that you guys can work on those skills. Most everybody is on the right side. They're doing the right things. Some of you might need a little practice on certain skills. So please make sure you guys are reading my comments, and if you need me to explain my comments a little better, please message me back. I'm willing to explain myself because I want you guys to do the best you guys can do. Most of you are doing okay, but again, there might be a little practice that we need. So that's what we're going to be doing this week, is practicing more on some writing of those skills. Today we're talking about contextualization. So I'm going to go back to the rubric one more time. This is the first thing I would start out my essay with, is a contextualization. You don't have to, but again, I would. And what's going to earn you the point is if you relate to the prompt, broader historical events, or things that are occurring before, during, or after the time frame of the question. So again, you have to relate it to the prompt. It has to be broader historical events that occur before, during, or after the time frame in question. So when you're getting ready to do this, the first thing you want to do before you've read we're going to assume at this point you've read all the documents, you've done all the things, you're getting ready to write your essay. To write a contextualization, to start out, you want to make sure that you have read the question really well and that you understand it, because you have to relate to the prompt. Step one, what does it say? Well, I'm going to give you an example prompt. We're going to assume that you've already read all the documents for this. That'll come later this week. What's the question say? It says, using the documents provided, evaluate the effects of various strategies implemented by governments that promoted their own state-sponsored visions of industrialization during the period 1750 to 1900 CE. What does all that mean? Well, number one, what's the time period? Because when we do contextualization, it has to be before, during, or after. So 1750 to 1900, that's our time frame. Next, what is it really asking us? And what I like to do is I just kind of like to put this in my own words. Evaluate the effects. You guys can read it all. But when I put it in my own words, the question to me becomes, what plan did governments put in place to gain an advantage with industrialization, or with regards to industrialization? I'm really bad about deleting everything. To me, if I restate that, that's what my restatement is. So I just basically look at the question. I try to put it in my own words to better understand what the question is. And I also, what is my time frame? I definitely want to highlight that. What is my time frame? Because it's important. Okay, next. I'm talking about the time frame 1750. I better understand my question. Well, what did the world look like a couple hundred years, whatever, before 1750? If you get to thinking about that time period, we see a change in really who's controlling the world. You see a time period where you had China and Arabs control trade. And what happened? Well, Europe slowly gains more control of that. You see countries like Spain, Portugal, they start to control Spain, Portugal, Europeans were weak but becoming stronger, right? And that's with regards to trade, political power, economics, all that, because it all relates if you can kind of control that trade network, right? You see a time period where China and Arabs took the lead on some stuff, and now with regards to technology, and now Europeans are more and more, they're starting to now get in that. So it's a change with power and technology and even trade. Yeah. So what am I doing? I'm just kind of writing down some keywords. I'm trying to plan out what I'm going to say for this essay for my contextualization. That's what I know about that time period, and that's all I'm going to say about that. I got to stop my video, but where's my button at? Okay. I needed a break for a second, get some more coffee this morning. All right, so I'm going to write my essay. Okay, so I think I've started in the right spot again. All right, I'm getting ready to write my contextualization, and I've already wrote one kind of down here. I may change it and revise it, but I'm going to copy and paste it back up here. It's kind of one that's already been written here. From the late 18th century to the 19th century, the world underwent dramatic political change. Why did I mention political change? Because it talks about state-sponsored visions. Traditional powers fell and new powers rose. That's kind of what I just went through describing here with the China and the Arabs and the Europeans. For most of the last 500 years, empires like China, the Ottomans, notice I got specific, I didn't just leave it with Arabs. I mentioned a specific Arab regime, gathered enormous power throughout the region. How? Through long-distance trade routes. Areas like Western Europe and Russia were by comparison much weaker. This all changed, however, when the Industrial Revolution began in England and was soon adopted by many countries who used it in place of historical trade routes to become new global powers. Okay. What does your contextualization need to have? Stuff that took place beforehand gives me a broad picture of everything that historical events that took place. You had China, Ottomans in control of trade, economic dominance by those countries. Europe was weak. That changes. Europe becomes more powerful thanks to the Industrial Revolution. We see that with countries like England, and soon other European countries are going to adopt it. And instead of trade routes becoming the power, it's now going to be industrial strength, industrialization that becomes the power. Guys, when you're writing your contextualization, you want to be broad, but at the same time, you want to be specific. You can't be so broad that you don't mention any. You can't just be like, well, traditional powers fell and it rose to new dominance. And you know what? Industrialization became the new source of power instead of necessarily controlling all trade routes. You didn't mention any specifics. My mentioning of specific places, China, Ottomans, Europe, England, in connection with what I'm talking about is what makes this contextualization. Some years and sometimes I'll see kids that'll write a contextualization, but they won't mention any specific places in connection to what they're talking about. Make sure that you do that. Most people are, but just make sure you try to do that. All right. Your assignment for today is I've got down 5 different options for you guys, and I'll try to make it towards just one page. But write a contextualization for 2 of these. You don't have to do one for all 5 of these. Just look down through here and be like, ooh, I like this one, I like this one. Maybe I know something about this time period more than another one. So just make sure you write a contextualization for at least 2 of these. Then you can take a picture of it. You can type it up. I'm on this. I'm going to make everybody a copy of this so that they can have it. Anyways, there it is. Good luck. Have a good day. By the way, this video that I'm watching is about the Green Revolution, which may be having to do with some of the things we're going to be talking about later this week. I noticed on my video that all of a sudden it clicked down and there's like this, child that's like starving to death, and kids are probably sitting there, oh my gosh, what is Mr. Nichols watching? Yeah, well, I'm not watching anything bad. It's about the Green Revolution, AP World History. We may be doing some stuff on that. All right. Have a good day. See if I can find my off button one more time.